Welcome to your next session of your course. In this session, I'm going to be talking about body temperature and body pH. And there will be a lot of wisdom that many of you will have around this, but I'm going to highlight it really to show how much they influence the outcome of what we're working on. By now, you've already heard me talking about the conditions in the test tube, and I like to do that because that's very much our responsibility, how we maintain the conditions in our body and how very much that we can influence those with diet and techniques. We know that Steiner was very keen to show that if you wish to be well and free of disease, we needed to heal the earth. And I very much look at that as the conditions in the test tube when we're talking about healing ourselves. So I'd like to look at body pH to begin with. This is determined by what we eat, as well as techniques and our thoughts. We know that if we're having very negative thoughts and we're creating stress, this will have a very acidic effect upon our body. But we also know that the condition of our body will decide whether we can process these things and let them go. So, how do we determine the effect upon our body of the food we eat? If you imagine putting this piece of food into a furnace and burning it until it creates an ash, you then test the pH of that ash to see the effect that it will have upon your body. And so from that we find often that the most acidic things outside our body have the most alkalizing effect when they're processed. So if we take a lemon, for example, which we know to be very acidic, and we burn it, the residue ash is very alkaline. And so that will be very, very extreme. Equally, meat will be the opposite, that we know that this can have an acid residue in our body, it will acidify the body, but when it's outside, it won't appear as such a very acidic thing. So we're going to be looking at that. The digestive tract is a hollow tube that runs from mouth to anus. And the pH of that is very important. And we find that roughly the pH that we require is slight acidity apart from where we have the bile salts going in. And so this hollow tube going through the middle should be slightly acidic, but the real you, the flesh and blood, the tissue, should be slightly alkaline. And so you can see our diet is going to have a huge impact as to whether we can maintain this status. And you can see that if the pH of the tissue changes, the pH of the skin will be different, and the inner skin, the mucosa of the organs. And when we find that happening, the changes that can occur from having an acidic body would be that we can proliferate a lot of things that are not particularly healthy to host. So for example, if we were talking about candida or we were talking about parasites, they will only occupy us if the pH of our body is incorrect.